What is going on? I'm Cole. I'm welcomed here today with my co-host Blake. Blake, how are you doing today?
Doing good, dude. You know what I never realized before? That's the longest countdown. Like,
It's 30 seconds.
yeah, it's like, on Blake's Buzz Live, I'm just like, I'm playing the song, bringing you in, like, boom, bam.
Yeah, I was gonna try and make one. Um,
Oh yeah,
and then I got lazy.
all that video making.
So instead, here I am. I'm just, out here doing this live thing with you, and that's pretty much all we're doing. But hey, yeah, I eventually I'll make us a little intro, and I think I don't know. I think you even sent me the one wave file that I asked you sent me, but I
Yeah,
probably lost it already. So
that's fair. It took he asked when he was making promo art when we first started this. So 11 weeks, well, actually more than 11 weeks. Took a week or two off, right?
1 week
Like
off, yeah, I think.
so, like almost 3 months doing this now, and it took me about a month to get. He wanted like a picture with a clean background and and some audio cues to do something, and like I did the same things. I made him wait forever, and
And now I usually just ask you like 3 weeks ahead, and then it
then
gets lost in our conversation, so I have to go back and find it
yeah, I
because I'm
don't
not
know.
smart
I
enough to
don't know how
save
to
it.
do that. Like on
Usually I just kind of like, I don't know, I figure it out. I scroll for a long time. But let's say hello to the chat. We got Steven Hayner. How's it going, Steve? I hope
what
you're having a
up?
great day today.
Got to
We
see
got
Trev. Oh
all
wait,
the
I
way
skipped
from
one. Sorry.
yeah, all the way from from New Mexico. We got Las Cruces. How is it going, Las Cruces? We've got Trev, the shipping guru from Texas. I had owed Trev a book from when we did Seven Sons, and I sent it to him today.
Nice.
We got Cat Fan Comics Man. How's it going? There is a state of confusion and denial. I'm guessing it's about the mustache. It'll be back. My daughter asked me to shave it, so I shaved it because she asked.
Oh
Apparently,
man,
I'm
you're
getting
setting a precedent, man. You can't let her tell you what to do already. Like it's you got years of
yeah,
that later on.
yeah, I know, but this is easy, and it probably needed to happen. Cole will need, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm taking a thumbnail. We've got one with Blake too, a little bit fresher of a shave. Now he's got his like 5 o'clock shadow, so it won't matter.
we
Bruh.
need like levels of like avatars for our
Yeah.
weekly. Where are you at facial hair wise? What hat are you wearing? What shirt are you wearing?
Apparently the countdown is serious too.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, I know too. I made a shout out and I didn't put Comics by the Bay, and then I saw that he saw my
Hey,
stuff
he's
on Twitter
here.
recently. So, and I also didn't give Steve a shout out, and I probably needed to. Steve is a great dude. Uh, and then Umpty, what's going on, Umpty? How you doing? Umpty does a little sticker thing, swap, and you can get some pretty cheap stickers, and you get a lot of other people out in there in the community. I think there's a lot of Funko Pops and card people in there. So if you're not checking out Umpty, make sure you do. That's a pretty cool thing. And those are pretty sweet. I wish there was an intro song. Yeah, Blake was supposed to buy one, but he forgot about
Yeah.
it. So and yeah, what is going on? See Bizzle. And yeah, I shaved. A lot of people have said it, and that's what it is.
You're like shaving too. You're like keeping it clean and tight, military style. Like you're looking good. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah. Well, it's just I literally just shaved done the other day. Yeah. So every week on Tuesday at 8:30, we read a comic book. We talk about it, and there is a chance that you in the chat can win it. So I'm just gonna start this. I'm gonna put the banner out. We're reading a book called Black Mass Rising. This is from TKO Presents. If you use that hashtag that's scrolling down there, it says Black Mass Rising in the hashtag. I might have misspelled it. I don't think I did, but if I did, I can guarantee that I copy and pasted it from the giveaway tool. So if you type it exactly how it is scrolling, you will have a chance to
I
win
think it's
this
there. Yeah,
book.
there's only
Yeah.
there's only yeah, that's good. There's only
I
one
know it's
message
just,
rising.
sometimes when you put so many. So I'm gonna quick read the little blurb about this real quick. But this is from right. I tried hard already. I already got one tongue tied. We only got to the word writer. I wasn't even reading yet. From writer Theo Prastisis, I think it's how you say that, and artist Jody Moore. And yeah, so this comes in a titanic and darkly fantastical reimagining of and sequel to Bram Stoker's classic Dracula. So if you are a fan of Dracula stuff, I think this is going to be a book for you.
Yep.
TKO, this is one of their books that recently I noticed all of their trades are $19.99. This one, for whatever reason, is on sale for $16.99. I
Hmm.
don't know why. I'm guessing maybe you can only buy this one on Amazon, and maybe they have a deal with Amazon or something like that. Um, but yeah, I know that it was on sale for a while. I don't really know. Now it isn't. I got this from my comic book shop because I usually grab some stuff from there. We also got Ignacio stopping in. Hey,
What
what's
up?
on? And but I still have a mic in my face, yeah, so it's hard to see. We also have Nornrad, and I just sent Nornrad one of the books that they won from here. Um, and I don't know. Did I say hi to Three Good Nerds? I might have passed them. I might have not. I don't think I did. Maybe I did. I don't know. It's been a weird day. Oh yeah, we talked about the thumbnail update. It's been a weird day. So we're here. We're talking about Black Mass Rising. And if you don't know about TKO, we definitely talked about TKO before. But hey, we're talking about them again. So I'm just going to bring this up. The one thing that I think TKO does that is pretty cool and that separates them from a lot of other comic book publishers is that I think they used to call this the Netflix model, right? They release the comic to you in its entirety.
Yeah.
You can pick it up in single issues, you can pick it up in a trade paperback, or if the book does well enough, they might come out with a hardcover for it later on. The cool thing about these is that they're also oversized. So when you're looking at it,
Yes.
the cool thing is if you get the single issues, they come with a little house. The bummer about them is that they are oversized, so you can't really
No
back and
bags and
board them.
boards. Yeah.
They might fit in magazine size ones. I guess we never
No, it's
tried
too
that.
tall. They're
Too
still too
tall.
tall.
They're
Yep.
still too tall. So I, y- I know that there's a lot of single comic collectors out there, but the issue with these, I think, is that you kind of will put them on the shelf, right? Like I like with the ones that I have that are the single issues, I put them on my shelf next to my trade paperback.
Okay.
Is that how
Oh,
you do it? How do
the
you do it?
boxes.
Yeah.
Well, I've fucked up, and because I'm out of shelf space, and so like there. Okay, I like the new TKO packaging. It's a lot better. When TKO first launched, the comic boxes were kind of flimsy, and so mine were stacked foolishly, and they've kind of the boxes aren't doing great from the first wave. But yeah, I should have kept them on a shelf. That would have fixed that problem, but I didn't. So they like set on top of each other and kind of ballooned out. But the new ones are slip cases. Like
Yeah,
they
that's what I
all the
have.
comics
And
are
I
in like it's like
bought
a drawer. It's
and I
nice.
bought them from the first. So you just must have got them early
Yeah,
because I
this is
have
like
all
wave
first wave
one.
stuff.
Like
Yeah, well, I have
yeah.
wave one stuff, but they had the slip boxes.
Oh well,
I
see,
I ended up buying them from a dude on Twitter who I also probably should have given a shout out to. His name's Shaq.
the
Uh,
shout
shout,
out guild is like
shout out to
Catholic
Shaq.
level tonight.
Yeah. But also, yeah, and Cat Fan, I think I mentioned you, but maybe I skipped you too. I've had a weird morning. So everyone, shout out to Cat Fan. Um, and so yeah, we were getting on Netflix. They come out with everything. You get it all at once. I really enjoy that methodology.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that this publisher became on my radar, one, they have a book from Garth Ennis, two, they have a book from Jeff Lemire, and three, in the middle of COVID, the cool thing that I thought they did that was awesome is that when you bought books from them, you could pick your comic shop and they would donate
Yeah, that was cool.
50% of the proceeds to the comic shop. And I thought that was just such an awesome thing. There were other great companies like Black Mask did something similar to that. So shout out to Black Mask. I'm sure that I'm skipping some other people. I know I think even DC might have had something on their website for a while where if you bought stuff from them, they donate to,
Huh.
there are a lot of cool stuff. I know Robert Kirkman came out with that Negan Lives comic book that 100% of the proceeds went straight back to the comic shop. I know Ice Cream Man did the annual and they had the one per store gold one. And I
Yeah.
think they told stores to sell it for like somewhere between $50 and $100. So it's like you
It's
just get
cool.
this. And like, cause at the time, I think my store, at the time that came out, there's a chance that only I got Ice Cream Man from them, with the possibility of Nick just adding it to them.
Wow.
Um,
He's got a new. I just got a total side note. I just got a
oh,
solicit from him. He's got a new book coming out.
yeah, I saw that. That book looks pretty cool. Welcome, Galoom, I think is how you say that. Gilau, I don't know.
Guillaume?
Galame. Sorry, I'm terrible with names and I try hard, but I'll do better next time. And also, hey, Chris, you were in
He
our
showed
tweet
up.
talking. So hey, once again, you're seeing as the bottom there is Black Mass Rising. If you click that, put that hashtag in the chat, you'll have a chance to win it. We currently have 8 entries
8
already,
entries.
so make sure you guys get in there. But I'm gonna quick show off the cover to this. We'll show off a little bit of the art. This is a piece of the art. Blake made this cool little thing. He was promoting hard, and I thank him for that, because I did not do a great job of promoting this week. But here's what the cover looks like. I didn't really think about this when I was kind of like setting all of this up here, because I just realized now it might look a little weird. So maybe if I move us here, maybe this won't look as weird for now. So we're gonna hang out here for a little bit. So this is what the book looks like.
Technology.
This, like I said too, I think the cool thing about these books too is, for the most part, I'm probably, I'm going to say this. We're going to read another book by them, and I'm going to be a complete liar. But for the most part, the people doing the interior art, I think, are doing the covers to all of these books.
Typically, yeah. I haven't come across another one.
This cover is what the internal art looks like. Here's one of the pages.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I got a few of the pages, but they have a weird zoom, and when I was saving them and I ran out of time, I didn't get as much. But this is like painted on. Like, this is like not that comic book art isn't art, but this is like painting. It's beautiful. There are some splash panels. I wish I had my trade, but from some time of me finishing it to now, I have misplaced it. But there are some of these like 1-page panels. Like, this is kind of a good example, but it's not as like beautiful, right? There's a castle in the background, and just
castle.
Like one person like walking up, or there's just like a few 2-page spreads that you're just looking at this and you're like, holy moly macaroni.
It's insane. It's a absolutely beautiful book. And one other thing, when we were going back to talking about like the quality of their stuff, these trades, not only are they oversized, like great page weight, these are nice. Like, it's a paperback, right? But it's a nice paperback. And like, I was very impressed with the like build and the hand feel. Like, I'm not
the hand feel,
I'm not shitting you. Like, just they feel good.
They are nice.
They open well. Like, there's not a lot of gutter loss and stuff. Like, they're just bound and produced and really, really beautiful books. Which one of you lucky viewers will get to? Well, I'm sure a lot of you have read TKO before, but
but if you haven't, this is a great one, I think, to turn out. I mean, so I think I don't know what wave this came out. This might have been wave 3 or 4.
Yeah.
They started doing a lot more horror related stuff, and that's kind of where this came in. I'm going to give a quick shout out to What's Going On.
What up, Geek Click
Collective? Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And yeah, if you want a chance to win this Black Mass Rises, make sure you enter that hashtag. But yeah, like you were saying, I mean, this was in that wave. I know the other book we talked about, I think, was in the similar wave, was Red Fork, also horror, which also, if the Mad Respect shows up, I still have to send that out to you. And I'm sorry. My credit card expired, and for some reason, MasterCard didn't want to send me a new one. I called them and I'm like, hey, my credit card expires in like 2 weeks and I haven't gotten a replacement yet. And they're like, hey, we'll send you one. It's on its way. And then it never showed up. Ooh. And then I called them back and they're like, well, next day you won. I was like, thank you.
Wow.
So I got one, but I also waited like 4 weeks after they said it was going to take 2 weeks. So so I, what I used to ship, I ran out of money there too. So
yeah, well, shout out to MasterCard just for being on it. And
I mean, at least they gave me that free next day delivery, and they were like, it'll be there next day. I called at like 5 p.m. on a Tuesday on my way home from work, and it was at my house at like 8 a.m. on a Thursday.
Have Amazon's doing that? I had an Amazon delivery at 5 o'clock in the morning the other day.
Well, this is the weird thing. So I sent out, there were 3, I had to do 3 orders from back shows that I haven't sent to people. So once again, sorry everyone, but I sent Trev one. It's going to be there tomorrow. I sent 22 Comics one, also going to be there tomorrow. The one to Norenrad, I could pay an extra $2.99 for it to be there tomorrow, or it'll be there on Thursday. So sorry, I did not pay that extra $2.99 to ship to you. But I think you can wait one more day.
I think they'll live.
Like
I think
2 weeks.
Yeah, I think they'll live.
But yeah, I saw that was interesting that they even had the option to pay for next day shipping. But yeah, I've been doing that a lot. I've noticed at Amazon. It's weird. So my sister-in-law lives in Chicago. We're going there this weekend. It's my nephew's birthday. We ordered a water table for him. If I shipped it to my house, it'd be here on Saturday, which we're leaving Saturday morning. If I ship it to their house, it won't be there until Monday.
Hmm. Damn.
We never even went into what this book is about. We got way off topic. Thanks, MasterCard. You ruined the day.
Yeah.
I read the
Fucking
blurb
it up
earlier.
again.
So once again, we'll just kind of re-dip back into
Visa for life.
yeah. I'm not, they both have their things.
Oh
right?
yeah, none of them. They're all terrible.
But yeah, so this is a reimagining of Dracula and also technically a sequel.
Mhm.
So I'm going to be completely honest here, and people are probably going to be upset about with me. I own a copy of Bram Stoker's Dracula, but I'm not sure that I ever read it.
Yeah, I've only read like in a lit class in college. We didn't have to read the whole thing. Like she just wanted us to read like sections of it, and we studied them. So, but like, yeah, it's not a book that like everybody's read. Like it's like a 500-page intense like.
Is it long? I felt like the one that I had was
big.
short.
No, it's pretty big, and it's real like the language gets really. It's like beautiful, but it gets tricky to read sometimes. And then there's all this like embedded sexuality stuff, and that I mean we were studying that for like literature, so I had to like, oh my god, it was exhausting. I mean it was
weird.
wild like what he did and how he like got away with it too, because there's like I don't know, he wrote like some real homoerotic stuff, and it was awesome, but like at that time like he had to hide it, like he had to like really make it to where it took people like an extra, you'd have to really dig into it to find it, and he had this big group of followers that loved him and bought his literature for that. And yeah, and I think we kind of get that too, because there's some like weirdness between our two female protagonists, like they're, I don't know, like they call him my love and stuff, and there's like this instant like attraction and connection between them, and I was kind of got the similar vibes.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw these up here at this point. So once again, we try not to spoil. There's some big twists in this book. We're not going to get into those big twists. I think you're knowing the twist. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Sometimes but there's a big twist in this. We're probably not going to get into that. But the one thing I was going to add is there's this character. They call him the healer. He's kind of this man of the cloth. And for the longest time too, I thought that was a female character just because he is kind of effeminate. And with the way that the paint style has been in this book, it's kind of, it's just a little bit more loose. And I mean, I'm going to say it, the art in this is probably easily my favorite part of this book. I think that while I personally have not read Dracula, that does not make me not enjoy this book. I know we saw some new people come in. So, hey, Chop, hey, Manny, and hey, Izzy. And
busy.
I think we're good there, but yeah. So, there are a lot.
You're so much better at the comments than I am. Oh man, I'm so.
Well, the worst
so
was a lot of these went by really quick. A lot of people are saying what's up, and hey, thank you all for being interactive in the chat today.
Yeah, it's awesome.
This is awesome. And yeah, once again, for all these new people sliding in here, make sure you put that hashtag Black Mass Rising if you want a chance to win this. But yeah, to get back onto that, so there's definitely some of that stuff that you had mentioned. There's this relationship between this. So the story kind of deals with a girl. Her brother gets taken. It's kind of like this weird joke, right? Like, ha ha ha, there's this demon that's gonna come kill the kids. Ha, ha, ha. And like everyone's playing around and it's funny, hunky dory. And then LOL, the demon like legit shows up and steals a kid and a girl, and it's weird. And then everyone else has to come in here, and they kind of try to get, they end up saving the girl. The girl comes back and she's like, let's go kill this demon together. And like, they're like, don't let her go. She's just a young girl. And they let her go because her dad's like, she's gonna do it, whether we let her or not. And I mean, like, okay. And once again, I'm not trying to like, jokingly say that. That's just me retelling this as like quickly as I can. But and then it goes into just this awesome adventure, right? Because that's like
changes big time.
Yeah, where it's like it kind of seemed a little silly in that first issue, and then it just really takes off into they're going through, they're like fighting demons, they're going to these epic castles. There's like this point where everything is like psychological and they're going through like their worst nightmares and like their fantasies that are not, and then end up not turning out and maybe becoming a nightmare because of it. So there's just so much. And then this book is a killer twist that like, I feel like I kind of wish I knew more of the history of this to like know if that's like I don't know, that twist could be something completely that like somebody who's read the original book would be like, "Oh, that's not a twist at all. You should have known that. You're just an idiot." Right? But like I think it was played so well. Um and
No,
yeah, I don't know.
that was. I'm pretty sure that was all new because,
Okay.
like,
And it is kind of weird because it's a reimagination,
yeah,
but also a sequel. So you don't know which ones are the sequels and which ones are the
yeah,
reimagination.
and like tonally, like just yeah, the way it was written and the language and the dialogue, it's dated, but it's not burdensome to read, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like it's very timely and atmospheric, and it really like puts you into this like a vampiric trance kind of. You like you, it's so easy to just get lost in, and yeah, like Cole's mentioned several times, it's that watercolor painted art. And the like I wish I had her name pulled up. She's so talented.
Oh yeah, I said it earlier. I'll bring it back up and bring it.
Um
It's Jennifer Moore, I think is how
oh,
you
you're
say it.
Muir or
Muir.
something. But yeah,
Or
like
Jody Moore.
Jody.
Muir.
Yeah, she's so good. And yeah, they're like not only like the character work, which in a piece like this, the character work does have to be real strong and they're very emotive like at times, and like just like heavy emotions that you can like see in the faces. It's perfect like that. But yeah, it's oh man, yeah, there's a huge element that we can't really talk about. I mean, but
Yeah,
it's
and like
worth it's
so
worth like experiencing. So if
yeah, and
we're
these are the
vague and
two main
weird, that's
characters
why.
on the cover too. And this is the demon that you see. So yeah, the main character on the left is the healer, which is a male. And for the longest time for me, it kind of like I didn't really get that, I guess, at first. But
And then
it
there's
makes more sense than once you see it and once you kind of know, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But
Allery, or I can't ever remember her name.
yeah, Alluri is how I
Allure,
said it, but
yeah.
I'm also probably not saying it right because I don't know how to read for the
And then
most
and then
part.
there's one other character that's like not the way it ties into.
Willamir, I think is her name.
Yeah, and it's Mina from it's Dracula's lover from, or well, he kind of like for like I don't know whether she wanted it for real or was coerced into it. Is like one of the weirder parts of that novel. But in this one, like he's Vlad is dead, and she's now moved on, and she's like a badass. She's like a hunter and has like some kind of
Y-
everybody has like some kind of powers that like
Yeah,
come out at weird times, and it's like what the fuck, and it's so crazy. It's like it's a great blend of like fantasy and horror in this like iconic Dracula, Vlad the Impaler mythos, and it's just like I did not expect it, honestly. Like I thought it was gonna be like a vampire, like a historic vampire fiction. Just like I didn't really know that it was tied so closely into Stoker's like epic world. So that was a big surprise, and big kudos like to the
yeah,
writer, because that takes guts, man. Like
yeah.
to especially that, like and people with genre nerds get so intense and obsessed. It's like people think like if someone like what they do with like new Star Wars stuff, and if they change something a little
Oh yeah,
bit,
yeah.
like like you're dealing with hundreds of years of vampire literary background.
And it's like the vampire thing, right? It's
Yeah,
what
it's
like
it. It's
started
like
vampires,
I
right?
mean, other than like translated Slavic origins of burial rites, like that's like there wasn't, and we don't really know that was fiction. That was like
Yeah.
what these people believe. So like, I don't know, man. I'm not saying vampires are real, but it's been documentation about them for a long time. This isn't real though. This is a
Yeah.
work of fiction.
Yeah. What's going on, 23 Munch? Thank you for stopping by. And if you haven't already, make sure you put in that hashtag. And yeah, I
Don't
guess
really
too.
think vampires are real, by the way. That
Yeah.
was a joke. Like I just,
Well, I mean, who knows? They could be. Who knows what's really real, right?
I mean, aliens are probably right. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't so I think
The
too
moon landing wasn't. No.
you kind of mentioned
Sorry.
the second female character that kind of
Yeah,
shows up. And
Mina,
when she shows up, dude, it's epic. It's
dude.
pretty epic. They're like getting mauled by like these demons, right? And she just
Yeah.
shows up, kills them, and you kind of can't tell because she's wearing a mask. She seems like what you think of like a demon hunter. I think in
Mm-hmm.
Diablo 3, one of the characters was called the demon hunter, and that's kind of what she reminded me of, except that one has a crossbow and she has a sword.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was pretty badass like entry to that. The fight scenes in this are great
Yep.
because they're like, it's weird because they're, with the way the paint works, it kind of almost makes it more like of a fluid thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
And all
yeah,
the
and
reds, there's so much red. And of course like red, like, red for blood, red is like intimate, but it's like, and then I love it when we get to the Black Castle, like, in that the starkness, but like the reds and the blacks, it's like a limited palette sometimes with it, but she does so much with it. And yeah, it's the interior work of this book is it's hard to talk about. I wish more comics had stuff like, I can't imagine.
it's
I bet it's so much more expensive because it's like, I don't know, it feels like a lot of extra work on the
well, it's just
artist.
probably, yeah, just the way that you paint too. And I mean, it's like, so I mean, this is something where it's like so much different, right? Like I remember the first time that I read and this is completely nothing like this, right? But the first time I read the Matt Fraction, yeah, Matt Fraction's Green Arrow, and it's like the first time you see David Aja's art.
Oh, you mean not Green
Is
Arrow, Hawkeye.
Or Hawkeye, yeah, same, right?
Yeah.
And you're just like, this is so completely different than what you're used to seeing.
Yeah.
That's what this kind of does, and it's kind of funny because I know you mentioned like the higher page quality that these books have. I think the funny thing about it is that it almost adds this like matte feel, which
Hmm.
almost gives these paints more of like a pastel look. And because you kind of have that matte feel, I don't know. It's like a
Yeah.
weird thing where you're like getting the texture on your fingers to
Yeah.
actually like seeing how it's laid on. It just kind of does it. And it is a little bit more flat. Like I kind of prefer that style of coloring a lot of the time, especially for horror, dark stuff like
Hmm.
this. Hey, what is going on at Red Rum? How are you doing? We got El Crudo too. So
What
if you
up,
guys have
dude?
not checked out El Crudo, he's got a crazy ape comic for you.
I was like, did you freeze?
No, I didn't. I just wanted to see how long I could take it. Which, yeah, Dracula is an ape. Let's do it.
Let's do
Can we
it.
add vampires into one of the next issues of that?
I feel like that's probably Marvel's gonna do that already with
Well,
they
they
keep
do
putting
have. I think he sent me the cover of like the Avengers is some sort of a prime ape.
they
There's
did
like
they did plan because they have the
no, it's
Marvel has
not
the
even
20th
that. It's
century.
just like
Oh.
the Avengers costumes on. Like they all turned into like orangutans or apes or something. I don't know, and I'm sorry that
Wow.
I don't know my species of marsupial. I don't. Those are not marsupials. I well, we're not talking biology. We're talking about reading a book. And while I do it as good as I can, sometimes it's Justice League apes. Apparently, I'm an idiot. I thought it was Marvel, but maybe I'm just an idiot. But I try my best.
Marvel, DC, the Green Arrow, Hawkeyes, all the same. Everybody's got, there's a bunch of apes.
Just a bunch of people in suits. And so I think one of the things you mentioned is like you almost got in this like trance as you're
Yeah.
reading this comic. And it's really weird that you mentioned that because I know like there were a few times where I literally was like reading stuff and like the story was flowing and it was going in my mind. And then I like read an issue and then I stepped away and I was like, I don't even remember what I read and had to like go back a few things. And I'm like, okay, now I get it. Cause it's just like when you're flowing through the book, it just kind of moves and you're
Yeah,
just
it's
kind of like,
dreamlike.
so yeah, it's very weird. And I don't think that I've really read a comic that really kind of does that. So I thought that was very cool in itself. Right.
Yes, it's crazy what that book does, and yeah, it's so atmospheric, and you like I said, you want to be there even when it gets like weird, and then I I really loved it because I was this is the raised Catholic in me, but there's a lot of anti-God narrative and deep philosophical like if God is great, why do these things happen? And that's what faith is, right? It's you to get you past that if you believe. I don't want to like knock anyone down, but I just was not expecting this like all of a sudden deep philosophical, existential Godhead dilemma and discourse, and it's like I don't want to tell you who's talking, like right, because that's another twist, like who's having these conversations. But it felt like it reminded me of like Neil Gaiman. It reminded me of like good Sandman, like just like that kind of like dreamlike language, deep, deep, intense emotions and topics, and just being like unafraid to go there. and it makes sense, right? It doesn't feel preachy. It's like there's these demons, and these demons are talking about how terrible God is, so it makes sense. But it's just like, like in a moment where you think it's just going to be blood and dismembered body parts and everything's going to go crazy, and they have this like crazy philosophical debate, and these like two powerhouse characters are screaming at each other, and narrative twists have like melted and turned your mind into goo, and you're already in that trance we talked about. Like it was a really interesting moment leading up to the climax of the book that I just didn't expect.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny that you kind of mentioned that because when I picked this book up, I saw the cover and I did not even think it would have anything to do with vampires. I just assumed this was going to be one of these weird like so I've talked about it a little bit. I've been listening to some like podcasts about movies, especially horror movies. Um and they talk about how like one of the new tropes is like a lot of stuff right now just is like intertwined religion in it. And I thought that was kind of what this does. And this did. And I think even though that is something that is done a lot, um, I think this did it in a fresh way. It definitely made sense. It definitely went like smooth, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
everything about this was that. We do have a lot of new people joining in. So first off, if you guys aren't seeing that banner scrolling, make sure you put hashtag Black Mass Rising if you want a chance to win this book. We also got Kenneth Bird. How is it going, Kenneth?
What up?
Hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. We got my buddy Cup of Comics. I ran into him at a bar in Las Vegas. Neither of us are from Vegas, but that's a fun story that we have together. We got a bunch of people saying hi to each other. We got my buddy
What up, White
Ruby
Tiger?
G. What's going on? Hope you are keeping it cool, calm, and
Was that
collected,
the
my
the
buddy.
same the same Vegas trip that you and Chaos were at? Was that like was Michael
Well, yeah, we
Moore
hung out one, but that's pre.
or Terry
I've
Moore?
I went there twice, and the
Okay.
second time is when we did the Terry Moore Bard crawl. We got my buddy Geek Out with Roscoe. Which here I'm just gonna show you guys some art of Geek Out with Roscoe. I think I did it last time that we got drunk with Chris, but I've got this here, and look at just how beautiful his art is.
Oh
Here.
yeah,
Yeah, because I was showing off these boards.
Oh, the clear backing boards. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is in a mylar because that's how beautiful the art is. It has
Wow.
to be put in that mylar bag. We'll just set that there.
Those are cool. Those clear backing boards.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Like
They're
you have to be
expensive.
real picky about what comics you want
Yeah.
set up like that.
Well, the biggest bummer about it is that when I went to buy them, I went to buy them for my old Batman stuff, and I completely forgot that the stuff I wanted to put in those were Silver Age, and I bought
no.
Modern Age comics. I mean, I have a ton of cool. I mean, the difference is Modern Age stuff though has a lot more of these wraparound covers.
Mm-hmm.
One of the cool things about this book too is it doesn't have a ton of back matter, but
Yeah.
it does have all the covers. As I
Yes.
mentioned, you can either get them in single issues or in the trade, and the trade has all the covers. And hey, you're welcome. And thanks for putting out the great art that you do to everyone in the community. And yeah, a lot of people can't believe it, but it comes and goes. I think some people just miss the waves, right? Usually
Yeah.
when it happens, I usually do it I always say I shave my mustache every 5 to 9 months. I think this is the first time in the last 3 years that I did not do it on Whack Comics. So there's that.
Like you did it live?
So yeah, so they had they did a 24-hour stream and they were giving away prizes. One of the prizes was a pin and a keychain, and they were like, "What will everyone do for a key and a pin?" And for some reason, I had a razor down here. I don't even know why, at my desk, and I was like, "I'll shave my mustache right now." And they're like, "Deal." So I shaved my mustache. And then for a while, every time I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to shave. How about I just randomly come on your show while you have another guest? I'll just jump on, shave my mustache and leave, and it'll be funny." And then for a while, we had this thing where I could only shave my mustache there. And hey, what's going on, Shop?
Wow.
How's it going? For those of you who don't know, Shop has been doing some cool art. This is me, and this is the universe that he has created.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So yeah, I mean, I've got to say, I think this book is good. This book is nothing of what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Once you started like tweeting people out, and then I realized what it was, I was like, this is way different than I assumed it was going to be. And I'm gonna put it on the record. I'm not a huge fan of vampires. Vampires are something that I don't love.
Yeah.
Do you know there's some good vampire stuff out there that I like, but I'm not like a huge vampire fan. I know that I think when we had Rodney Barnes on,
Did you tell him that? You're like,
uh,
why vampires? I don't really like them that much.
no, so the thing that we did is we had him on a Wednesday, which was normally different than when we bring on interviews, but for
Yeah.
certain people, it's just kind of the days that you can get them on. And the thing that we did is on Wednesday, we did our new comic book day, and we always ended with the top 3. So we started with our top 3 vampires, and mine were like, I don't even know. But 2 of mine were the Count and Gangrel. So I'm not sure if you're wrestling fans, but Gangrel is a professional wrestler that was the leader of the Brood. Fun fact, Rodney Barnes then told us that he was, I think, training to be a wrestler at one time, and he knew Gangrel. So that
Wow.
was like a random weird throwback to all of the things that we had.
That's crazy.
Or that he met Gangrel because he was doing something. Yeah, but yeah, it's Gangrel. He's great, right? People love Gangrel.
I have no idea who that is.
So like, do you know Christian and Edge?
Yeah.
So they started in a group called the Brood. They were all vampires, and
Wow.
Gangrel was their leader. So they used to come out, drink from a chalice, and spit red liquid into the air. It was
Holy
like this.
shit.
Dude, the 90s were weird with wrestling.
That,
But yeah.
that was like a couple years before I started watching it. Yeah, because I just remember them and like their crazy ladder and cage matches and stuff.
Yeah. So right before that, and they used to wear these white frilly shirts. They had like big neck blouses, like in the thing where it's like
Triple H used to wear, like
yeah, kind of like that, yeah.
wow. Yeah, I don't. Wow. I remember Razor Ramon and Goldust, like, and I always like wondered if they were gonna fuck or not. I was like,
I mean, to be fair, Goldust's still going. He's technically now just called. I don't even know what his name is. His brother's name's Cody. Dustin Rhodes.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I think he's got to be like super old.
He is. I think he just hit his actual final match, maybe. But yeah, he's pretty old.
That's crazy. Yeah, I remember that and like spitting his toothpick in his face and like
all the yeah. The puffy shirt from Seinfeld. It's pretty much just like what that was.
I'm gonna have to Google this later. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it was really
they were
weird.
like cool and sexy and like they were like when I started, I was like they were these like brothers that you don't fuck with, man. Like jumping off a fucking.
It's because they were vampires, right? Vampires have sex appeal. I think we've all learned that.
That is true. That is true. That's crazy. I didn't like the fucking vampire wrestlers. I didn't.
It was weird.
I guess there's we never really knew if like the Undertaker was alive. I mean, we knew he was alive, obviously, but like that was
Kane. Kane's burnt, and now he's the mayor of Tennessee or something. Nashville, maybe. I don't know.
Mayor Kane. Yeah, that's crazy. I want to get into wrestling again, but I'm like scared of like finding another. Like already, I'm like Cole has me like I pulled out my Switch and stuff because I don't play video games much anymore. Cole's been playing Zelda on his new Switch and stuff, and like I've been like, man, I have all these games I haven't played, so I busted mine out, and as I already have like, we got to like read for clients and shows and I'm like, man, you can't really get back into video games. So I'm like, I want to kind of get back into video games. And now I'm like, man, I kind of want to get into wrestling. It's like, you can only have a certain amount of hobbies.
Dude, I like wrestling. And I still would say that I'm a wrestling fan. But for most of the time, I just read what happens the next day. Like usually the way Saturday nights go is that or Friday nights. SmackDown is usually what I would watch if I were to watch anything because it's 2 hours. It's usually right now the Blue Brand has most of my favorite wrestlers on it. And it's Friday night. So usually my daughter goes to bed a little bit later. I DVR it. So I just fast forward through the commercials and I'll kind of like watch it while playing games on my phone. And if there's wrestlers that I don't like or a match I'm not really into, I just fast forward through it. Yeah. That's literally how I do everything except for the pay-per-views. I will watch the pay-per-views. This next pay-per-view, I don't know if it's on a Sunday. Do you have Peacock?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on a Sunday.
Yeah,
never mind.
That's so crazy. You can just watch those with a I remember like mowing lawns having to pay like $50-$60 to like when it was actually called pay-per-view and you had to like call the number and like order it and they like beamed it to your TV, like, cause the internet wasn't really a thing still. And like, oh man, now it's fucking $6, $7 a month. You get to watch that shit. It's crazy.
And they got pretty good horror movies on there.
Yeah, I like it. It's cool.
I mean, I thought it was stupid at first. The thing I hate about it though is you can't pause it. So another big thing that I would do is like, I'd put my daughter to bed, let's say, and I would pause it, and then I could skip through it because there's still commercials in the pay-per-views because like in between matches they're re-prepping the ring, and there's pay-per-views. So it was like I'd pause it, I'd go put my daughter to bed, and then I could kind of fast forward through some of the previews. If there was a match that I didn't like, I could just kind of pass forward through some of that. Hey, what is going on, Dale? How is it going? I think Dale just recently hit 500 subscribers on YouTube. So, hey, congratulations. I think he might have a subscriber giveaway going on. Maybe it already happened. I think it already happened. I think I missed it. I haven't been on YouTube as much as I used to, so I think I missed it. But hey, congratulations again. And yeah, hey, thanks for joining us. As always, we've got the hashtag down below. So make sure that if you are here and you're hanging out with us, put in that hashtag and get a chance to win this book. I would say that if you're a horror fan, if you like cool and interesting art, this definitely has that.
Yep.
And if you're a vampire fan, this is probably a must read. Horror fans probably also on the must read. I think this book, it's different. I mean, we've kind of covered most of it without getting to. There's a pretty big twist. We don't want to get into that, but
yeah, it's like the characters are really great. Like the three like protagonists. And then, man,
he has not done the giveaway, so
I won't say it right, but the end, like when we find out what the title is said, like on the page, they're like, when she sees the black mass rising, I was like, holy shit. Like, I haven't had a good, like, fuck me running moment in a comic in a hot minute. Like, I just like that hit like hard. And I was just like, wow. And the page too is like, it's so massive. This page.
Yeah, there's so many good pages in this book. Yeah. And I'm bummed that I couldn't find the trade because I just want to show them off. Because the cool thing is all these cool pages really have nothing that's going to ruin any story for the most part. They're just mostly like great landscape, awesome castles, just cool stuff.
Great monster designs.
Like,
like the demons and vampires aren't, I wouldn't say, like, I guess not traditional. Well, actually maybe a mixture, but like, it's definitely like leaning more towards the demon side of the spectrum in this. And like, like the big bat wings and the dark skin. And, oh my God. Like it's like ash and slimy. I don't know, like leather. It's weird. It's crazy. And they're like gray. I don't know. They're crazy looking. And yeah. And then there's that, like I said, colors are very cool, very, very well done, and another big flex to the artist in this. Like, it's so moody, and it successfully does that because of the colors, and it's got the best letterer in the game, Hassan. Like, so I mean, just every page is perfection. Like, and then like I said, the dialogue and storytelling's on point too. So I think the art definitely sweeps you away, but the story's good and it's different and it's fun. And it is fun. It's like a big adventure. It's like I said, it's like fantasy it's got this like Indiana Jones escapade within it, but like if like Indiana Jones like in the cabin of Evil Dead. Like it's crazy, right? And I don't know, it's very cool. Like and another testament to just like how great TKO is. All their entities are so diverse and like a wide assortment of creators and different art styles, different writing styles. They do more horror now, but there's sci-fi, there's all sorts of stuff. They're doing
the first few waves, it was mostly like they have the heist Western book. Yeah. There was a Western. There was a war book. And I'm going to tell you, war books are war is probably my least favorite comic type.
I haven't read many of them.
Like, Sarah is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it might be their best book.
And that's one of the hardcovers you can get now, right?
Yeah.
There's 2 hardcovers available, and I believe their hardcovers are oversized as well, like the trades. And they've got gilded edges. It looked like when they were showing them off online, but they've got Jeff Lemire Sentient, and then
I
they've
don't
got
see
Ennis's
gilded edges on Sarah looking at it, but there is a die cut in the cover.
Ooh, so that okay. I
At
don't
least
think
with
Sentient has
Sarah's.
that. I'm not sure though. I thought I ordered it. I remember like right before I quit my job, I ordered it and it showed up, and they sent me the folio, the slipcase with the single
yeah.
issues and not the hardcover. And I ended up returning it, and I was going to buy the hardcover, but then I quit my job and I just like took the refund. I was like, damn it, I should have either pulled the trigger or waited a week. I don't know. One of the two. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But yeah, they're and now they've got like they do single issues now, but they're like 1 shots, 1 or 2 shots.
Oh yeah. I saw some of those. They're called shorts, I think is what they call them.
And they again like getting tons of talent to do these little 1 shots. And they have novels. They have like a short story collection. They do these light novels. Joshua Dysart did Brood X, which I read. And I can't remember who the illustrator is, but like a handful of illustrations in this great whodunit mystery. Andrea Moody did the other light novel. Did the illustrations in that. So like they're doing all this. They're doing different stuff now. So like it's a great way to like dip into some prose, dip into some graphic novels, dip into some little 1 shots. Like I like how crazy they're being with it.
Yeah, and Brian Elsias is here. Big shout out.
What up, Brian?
How's it going? And if you guys haven't heard, Brian is doing the CBC Awards. So if you haven't checked those out, make sure you go check those out. I think May 13th. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, is when the day is going to be dropped for some of the voting and nominations. So go out there and nominate some channels, or maybe figure out some new channels. And I see Dale dropped Blake's
Hey, thanks.
link there. So thank you, Dale. For those of you who are here that are following me and you aren't subbing up to Blake, make sure you go check him out. Blake has been having some killer talent over on his channel coming by. He's had the likes of Matt Kint. He's had Ed Brisson. He's who we called Ed Bryson.
I cut that out though.
I know you did. I was like specifically looking for it and it never happened.
I was going to leave it in, and then I was like, you know what? I can just pretend this didn't happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff, and I think you get some good interviews out of people, and you hear a lot of questions that I don't normally hear from some of these stuff. So yeah, and it looks like May 13th is the day. So yeah, always good time. And yeah, so yeah, I'm just kind of going through their stuff, and it looks like so what they have now of what they kind of consider the categories of stuff that they've got it set for all ages. New releases, fantasy, historical, which is where Sarah apparently lands, history, mystery and crime, sci-fi, supernatural, thriller and horror, and western.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
and Tim Seeley's got there's 2 new ones coming out, 2 new horror books. I think one is, I'm assuming this one's horror because it's called Witches of World War II. I'm just guessing the genre. Because of that, I can't remember who's writing that though.
I can quick check it out.
And then
it comes out April 26th, so literally tomorrow.
Soon. Oh wow, yeah, tomorrow.
And it is written by Paul Conroy, artist Valerie Burnzo, and they got one of the great colorers out there, Jody Belair.
Ooh. And then Tim Seeley's doing Sacred Lamb.
Yeah,
that might come out tomorrow too.
It also comes out tomorrow, and it's got artist Jelena Dordevic, which there are a lot of. I don't know if this is going to come out the way that it's printed here, but I really have to copy and paste this and see if it does, because this will be interesting. Oh, it does.
Oh, wow.
That is how the artist of Sacred
I assume those D's sound differently.
I don't know.
And how do you accent a C?
I don't know. Well, doesn't Motley Crue have that? No, that's on the U.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow,
I mean, I can hardly pronounce normal names.
Yeah, so they've got those 2 books look really cool. And I love Tim Seeley. That's cool. Tim Seeley's got that coming out, and what's Money Shot. So Tim Seeley's gonna have a good Wednesday. And he's got what's the other his image book that everybody loves?
Hack Slash. Oh,
No,
Local Man.
Local
Local
Man. Yeah.
Man is Local Man. So like I've got a short list of books that are like top of my books right now, and Local Man's in that top 5 right now, I think, for me.
Nice.
How I Became a Shoplifter, that's definitely up there.
I still need to read that.
Dude, so good, so good.
I need to read Local Man too.
Local Man is just fun. I think if you're a fan of 90s image stuff, Local Man pulls from that. And it does this thing. It's also Tony Fleece. I don't know if it's
they like
Fleece or
co-write
Fleece.
it together.
They co-write it and they
He did Stray Dogs. Yeah.
So they do art for the other person's story. And one of them kind of does a throwback to when this guy's in this superhero group. And the other one writes this slice of life book where he's back home, just being a dude living with his parents who they're kind of ashamed of because he apparently did something. I have not read issue 3. It comes out tomorrow, but I might have a review copy of it. And I usually read the review.
Local Man comes out tomorrow too?
Local Man number 3, yeah.
So Local Man, Money Shot, and a graphic novel for Tiki. Damn, Tim! Like it's Tim Seeley Wednesday.
There was one day, I forget, it might have been Matt Kent. It was either Matt Kent or Jeff Lemire that I had 3 or 4 issues.
Wow.
Yeah, World Tree. I'd love to know what you think of World Tree when you get that, Trev the Guru. When you read that, hit me up on
Another
it.
one I need to read.
It is a book that I don't know how well it'll be received. I like it. It has some things in it. I'm very interested to see how people kind of take it. I'll tell you after this, but kind of. I mean, it goes into something that is very there was a book that came out that I really enjoyed, and I talk about it all the time. It involves a room that might be the color of Blake's hat.
Oh yeah, so like
and a lot of people thought that there's some stuff kind of similar to that in this book that I'm very interesting to see what people will think. Oh, so Chris read it and he said it's so good. So that is very interesting. I liked it. I like the idea. The only thing I would say, the only bummer I had with it is that it just kind of the first issue ends where it's just kind of like, I guess that's the way to end an issue.
You know, I used to really be into him, and it's not that I'm not into him anymore, but I love his detective run. I haven't quite finished it yet, but great. I heard his Batman run. Like, it's got its fans, right? But I've heard mixed responses on that. But like, you know, I used to be really into Something Is Killing the Children, and I still
think that book is good.
See, I mean, I was having fun with it, but I died off on it. Like, and now there's the spinoff, and now I'm like, now I got to read like 20 issues to catch up, and I'm like, when am I going to have time to do that?
There's so many of those
titties,
book, but they're the same ones.
And World Tree?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought there are none in Black Mass Rising unless there might be like one pair. A quickie? No, I don't think there's any.
It was pretty tame.
I mean, there's demons eating people, so.
Well, yeah, it's a different kind of gratuitousness, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you. We've got 21 people entered in this giveaway. I kind of put it in because I usually do it in the last 10 minutes so that you can kind of see it there. And we've had a lot more people kind of hanging out with us throughout the whole time today. So I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming back and talking to us. And we love to, help you.
It's because they miss you, man. You're not posting as much YouTube content. So now they're all coming, which is cool. Like, so yeah, like, keep weaning them off and then bring them to the live stream. But I mean, I bet that's what part of it is, because you're not doing Most Anticipated anymore, are you? Or are you
I'm thinking of trying to find a way that maybe I can do it. I might do a few of them in shorts, but like I might try and do them when I can live. Just do a quick. Here's what I probably won't even quick and dirty live. I'm not even going to interact with you guys. Not that I don't want to, but like most likely I'm going to try and do it like wake up early on a Friday and do it at like 6 a.m. So no one shows up for the live. So then I can like interact with that one person. Like, why are you even up right now? And it'll probably be like Comic Journey. And he'll be like, I just haven't gone to sleep yet. And I'm like, how do you go to work in like 3 hours? Cole shaves and everything changes. Yeah.
The world stops.
But I'm gonna say I think we didn't get to it. Blake, do you want to do your rating, or do you want me to do my rating first?
You do your rating first.
All right, so I love this book. I enjoyed the art. I'm gonna give it the same grade of what we read last week, and I'm gonna give it a 3.69 out of 5. I think that this is, you know, it does a great way of just kind of bringing you into the book. It kind of puts you in a trance to where like you almost don't like you kind of read it in a way that you don't even kind of understand sometimes. But I loved it. I think I wish, like, as I said, I don't love vampires, so that's kind of like the thing that might have like turned me off about this the most. Um, but overall, I think this is a great story. I think if you're a fan of horror, especially if you're a fan of vampires, I think this is a good book, and I think you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go 4.27.
So that is 0.03 more than I think the last book you did.
I would go higher. I would give this a 4.5 or a 4.6. But that first issue struggled in finding its tone. And initially I was just like, I was taken aback a little bit, and the issue one was a little harder to get into. Other than the art was like beautiful, and that carried it. And then the demons show up, but even then, like Cole said, like it starts with this like this fairy tale, and then they're like, "Oh, it came true, you little fuckers," and then it's just like, "Fuck these kids!" Like, and it was like it was entertaining, but that issue compared to the following 5 issues is dramatically, tonally, and like psychologically different. And so like as it went on, that's when that dreamlike trance became this normative thing, and it got kind of experimental and weird and took a lot of narrative risks, and where we find the big twists and the great dialogue between some of these iconic characters. So yeah, the first issue just was a little bit lacking, but again, like, I mean, almost a 4.3 is a pretty damn good comic book. And I definitely enjoyed every moment of this. I'm glad the change happened. Like, I'm glad when I'm glad when like the journey starts, you're like, oh, this is different. This is dark and mysterious and wild and chaotic and just magical. Like it's pretty dope. Like I said, one of you is going to be pretty lucky, and then the others you should just buy it and then buy it.
Yeah, and I do have a link down below to both TKO, their website, and a link right to where you can buy that book.
And if you guys are digital comic fans, I believe TKO is on Global now. The only thing, I've never looked them up. I'm not sure if they're on Hoopla. I'm sure they are.
They aren't. I don't.
Oh wow. Okay. So, but I know they're. I'm pretty sure they're on Global. I thought they were on Global.
They might be. Maybe I don't know. I'll double check later tonight.
But they used to do sales like on Comixology. Like, dude, they used to do like their digital trades for like $2-3 for like these 5-6 issue trades. Like
all of them are 6 issues, I think.
Yeah. So so keep an eye out on them too for some, if you guys are digital readers too. But like I said, these physical ones, whether you go the single issue route, because they're the same way, like cardstock covers and nice page weight too in the nice folio box. And I believe they have signed ones now, so you can get like a Garth Ennis signed Sarah collection.
Oh, that'd be pretty sweet.
I think they had a Jeff Lemire one too for Sentient. But and those were like $50 or $60 maybe, instead of 30 or 40. But yeah, anyways, definitely worth checking out. And this book as well. But like we talked about Red Fork the other day, 7 Deadly Sins is awesome. What's the California where the homeless guy tries to find the murderer?
Oh yeah,
Josh
Night Paradise.
Good Night Paradise. That book is crazy. Like, that book, it did not feel like something I'd read in a comic book, but
it's so
it totally
weird
worked.
And
it totally worked as a comic book too. It was awesome.
I loved The Banks. I think that's a book that people don't talk about, but it's a really good heist book. I mean, I'm kind of into that. I know Nick really likes.
Is that the one Steve Orlando wrote?
No, Roxane Gay.
Okay.
Nick really liked The Fearsome Dr. Fang.
Yes, that was good.
But yeah, I think we're gonna run this for one more minute. So for those of you who are out here lurking around, if you haven't put in that hashtag Black Mask Rising, make sure that you do. But yeah, and once again, thank you all for hanging out with us. This has been a good chat.
Yeah, it's a good chat.
I think if you've never read a TKO book, I know some shops. I know my shop specifically, they have a whole TKO section. If you can see them, I recommend just picking them up and looking at them.
Yep.
I would say, they're one of those companies to me, just like AWA, where I would say if you like the genre of the book, you're probably
Mm,
going to enjoy this. I
yep.
think Mad Cave Studio, for the most part, has put out mostly all hits too. Uh, not that, not to like even say that other people haven't, but
No, but that's the problem when
usually
you
they're
start
really
getting
like
more and more
honed in,
titles.
right? they're
Yeah.
doing they're doing small amount of book releases, but they're putting out quality books, and that's what I think you're getting with this. And when we say quality books, we're not talking about just the story itself, we're talking about the
Build
book
quality. Yeah.
itself, right? Like, it's a little bit nicer. And it's just because with people like Marvel and DC, they don't have to set themselves apart. They don't have to put out a
Hmm.
better product because people are going to want to read that stuff and will buy that stuff. So I think for these indie companies to set themselves apart, they have to do that. But we're going to hit this draw button. We're going to see who our lucky
Let's
winner
go.
is for this trade.
22 entries. I think this was the biggest one we've done
22
so far.
entries. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like every time that we end, we say that. And we got Christopher
Holy
Evans.
shit!
He
We
made
ripped
a
it.
post on Twitter and he said that he was
That's
hoping to
nuts.
get it. So I know, Chris, I don't know if we're friends on Instagram. Usually I tell people to hit me up there, but I know we are on Twitter. So hit me up, send me your address in a message. And hey, congratulations
That's
to you
awesome.
for winning this. You said you wanted the book. And hey, guess what?
Made a nerd's dream come true.
You got
Today.
it. He specifically said, I'm going to Amazon to buy this
And
book.
Cole
And
was
I
like,
said,
wait, come
wait,
watch the show.
before you do that, watch the show and you get a chance to win it. I do want to say next week, I am going to a concert. I'll be watching Father John Misty perform. So we are going to take that week off. But Blake does have some interviews on Monday. So make sure you go over there and check it out. What else you got going on your channel?
Friday or Thursday, I've got Michael Adams, this artist I met at Planet Comic Con, and he's got a cool book called Kung Fu Legume, and we're going to talk about that. And I love his art. It's very similar to Scotty Young's style, but it's like also his own, but it's awesome. And we're going to give away a sketch cover on
Oh,
the
awesome.
show on Thursday, and then Friday I've got Daniel Calvin coming on to talk American Dreams, his upcoming Kickstarter, how he's just killing it in the direct market. And that's Friday night, and we're gonna give away some Band of Bards comics that night. So yeah, I got some issues to give away, and some cool people coming up, and then yeah, that's it for this week.
Cool. Yeah, I don't have a ton of stuff coming out. I might try and do a most anticipated comics, but I might not get to it. I've been trying to put out a few more shorts here and there. So if you guys are there, you'll still get a little bit of some taste of me. And I try to put them too. And yeah, hey, Cat Fam, thanks for
Thanks,
coming
man.
by. And yeah, thanks for the kind words. And yeah, once again, yeah, we will not be going live next week, Tuesday. I'll probably make a post about it too, but we will be back for issue number 13.
13. Lucky
13,
number
yeah.
13.
Yeah. So once again, yeah, thank you everyone for stopping by. We had a lot of people kind of just hanging out for the most part.
Yeah, it was
And
so
that was
cool. Thank
awesome.
you.
So yeah, thank you everyone. And as always, I've been Cole. He's Blake. Wise man once said right on, and peace.
So someone said right off earlier.
Yeah, I know.
In the chat.
It's my mustache rode off.